All right, well, joining us now is Behnam Ben Taleblu. He's a senior fellow from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Behnam, I'd like to begin just kind of with the extent of the success of Israel's attacks on Iran right now. We heard those comments from the, various members of the Iranian public, but do you think they're reflective of the reality of how Iranians feel about the success of Israel's attack?
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. It's a great question, and certainly not, because if you look on social media, as well as talk to people internally, as well as talk to others who do somehow, eerily enough, still come and go, it's much more of a kaleidoscopic picture. If you were anti-regime before this and pro-Israel before this accentuates it. And if you were pro-regime and anti-Israel before, that certainly accentuates it. The one very interesting area of overlap between these two divergent groups, because there is a massive chasm between the Islamist government and nationalist population in that country, is in the world of making jokes. There was one very interesting joke circulating from within Iran down to various social media platforms, which is to say that when Israel is attacked, regardless of how successful the attack, but that when Israel is attacked, its citizens go into bunkers underground. But when Iran is attacked, or rather when the regime in Iran is attacked, Iranians go onto the roofs to make sure and check to see if the Supreme Leader's office has been hit so that they can celebrate accordingly. So it's a drastically different sentiment there than that which was shared by some of the folks internally in the video. But nonetheless, no one wants war, and large swaths of the population do seem to already believe that this is Ali Khamenei's war. This is the Islamic Republic of Iran's war. And that's why you've had slogans like "Not Gaza, not Lebanon, my life only for Iran" in various iterations of nationalist uprising against the regime since 2009.
It's interesting because I've spoken to many experts and analysts from Iran, many of whom say that this is an opportunity for many Iranians to stand up against the Islamic Republic of Iran and essentially say, we witnessed Israel attack your missile launch sites, your drone launch sites, and not come up after us civilians, as you've essentially been warning us will happen. But do you think there could be any type of kind of mass demonstration as a result of this attack that we've seen today?
Three quick things. One big picture, one philosophically, one practically. Big picture, anytime an authoritarian regime like the Islamic Republic, but not limited to the Islamic Republic, which engages in domestic repression and foreign aggression, anytime they lose, whether they lose on the home front or they lose abroad, certainly there's an opportunity to push on the other side. So certainly that opens up an example here. And a historical example actually is the Argentine junta with the Falklands War. That's one. Two is philosophically, yes, Israel should be or could be looking for ways to better stand with the Iranian people, to not just support a policy of maximum pressure, but to support a policy of maximum support, to get creative about that. But practically, three, this is probably not going to come immediately on the back end of a military strike. What needs to be done now is be able to kind of read into the Iranian body politic the next round of major anti-regime demonstrations, or to be able to amplify that and to really support that in ways that may not necessarily be limited, that need not necessarily be defined or limited to military, but rather perhaps on the cyberspace, on the operations space, on the messaging and communication space, on the information technology space. There's a lot more options for the Israelis to be able to amplify the sentiments that already exist inside Iran, rather than have to seek to create something which is going to be much more challenging, particularly if it follows a conflict.
Right. Now, Iranian state media, the Islamic Republic, have essentially said that the damage was limited that was seen in Israeli strikes this morning across Iran. Of course, we don't know the true extent of the damage, although the IDF itself says that the operation was a major success. In your opinion, and according to the information that we have at this point, was this operation a major success?
Well, it's still soon to tell, too close to tell, because the real technical way one would know based on the strikes that the Israelis hit if it was a success or not is if you geolocate some of the suspected sites before and after, if there's signs of damage or destruction there, that you can get through satellite imagery. There's lots of think tanks and firms that are probably doing that right now as we speak. But here's the big reason why you can lean into the idea it was a success. Because for several hours, estimated from about 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., during the three different rounds of Israeli strikes, one to the east of Tehran, one to the west of Tehran, Then, of course, kind of following that crescent-shaped periphery of military centers outside of Iran's mountain ranges to include parts of the southwest of that country. These were essentially uncontested attacks, meaning we have lots of images and video of anti-aircraft fire, but firing essentially at nothing. And given that there is no news of Israeli casualties, or given that there is no videos of downed or intercepted Israeli munitions, it means that the Israelis were able to come and go as they please, target the sites that they wanted as they please. So it's a major setback for the regime's deterrence model, as well as what it claimed it had, which was layered air and missile defense.
All right, Behnam, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us with your insight. Always a pleasure to have you.